ఆ లింక్ నుండి ఓపెన్ చేసి మెయిల్
జాయిన్
ఇక్కడ
Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Naga. So after the installation, SQL Server will be in a running mode, and SQL Agent and browser is a stopped mode. So at the time of installation, that is the default state for the SQL services. So if you can choose the mode for SQL services, the installation, you can keep running mode or stopped mode after the installation. So that is the expected behavior.
Oh, okay. I thought like it is going to show starting mode.
No.
Okay. And after I installed the server, in that I didn't see the agent and the browser too.
Yeah, for enterprise, we will not see.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sai Pooja, you were telling like you had some challenges in installing. What kind of additional version you have downloaded? Currently you are using? I see other participants. We start today's session.
Hello?
Am I audible to you all?
Hello?
Yes, Naga.
No, it's me, Sirisha.
Yes, am I audible to you?
Yeah. Actually, just now you
Yes,
told
Sirisha.
Naga that SQL instance should be in running mode, but for me it is still showing started.
Okay. So we have modes, either two things. If you go to services.msc, it will be started mode or stopped mode or disabled mode. Okay. If you see configuration manager, the current state would be running state.
Okay.
State is running, the mode is started or stopped or disabled.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm seeing it in a service mode, so that's the reason I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be starting today's session. So in our previous classes, we have uh, gone through the preparation of SQL Server 2008. We installed SQL Server 2008, and then we configured SQL Server 2008. So there we now we should be familiar with the authentication modes, SQL authentication and the mixed authentication mode, and SQL user and Windows user. Correct? So and the startup type, and by using configuration manager, you can configure the SQL services and manage the SQL related services, and we can configure client protocols and network server protocols. So in SQL Server we have four kind of protocols. So can each one name one protocol?
TCP/IP, shared protocol, named pipe,
Yep.
and
And the fourth one is VIA. So
VIA.
the shared memory, when we are connecting to the server locally, in that case SQL Server will use shared memory protocol. When the server and client are different servers, and we are trying to connect via network, so we use the TCP/IP. In the TCP/IP, it uses SQL IP address and the port number. IP address would be server IP, that is box IP, and port number which is assigned to the SQL Server. There are two kinds of ports: port and dynamic port. Static port, the port number will not be varied, whereas in the dynamic port, whenever the server restart, Windows Firewall will automatically assign a port to the SQL server. The default port for the SQL server is
1433.
yes, 1433 is the default port. If the 1433 is not available, that is being assigned to earlier SQL instance or any other instance, then the version can the port number can be any number between 1433 to 50,000.
50,000.
This is the range that has been provided to SQL Server port number. So it's recommended to keep the SQL Server port number as a static, not a dynamic, so that whenever the application always tries to connect, so we need not to change the connection strings and connection mechanism. Clear?
Yeah, Srinivas, I have a question on dynamic port. I try to put that in the dynamic port, and after I restart it again I when I see that in that the same port I'm getting, it's not changing. The same one
Okay.
it is showing.
Yes. So when you restart your machine, so what will happen? Windows Firewall port, it will try to assign. It may assign the same one, it may not assign the same one, right? If you have in your machine, if you have more number of applications, so at the time of starting up is the application, each application should require a port number.
Okay.
So other applications may acquire the same port number. Since in your machine you don't have any other applications, you just install SQL Server. So every time you are seeing the same port number. Let's say if you have 2-3 instances, if you restart the server, we cannot say all the three instances will have the same port number every time. If it is set to dynamic, every time there are chances to change of port number. To avoid that, we are keeping it in static mode.
Okay. Thank you.
But actually for me, when I'm trying to do that, my dynamic port number, it is showing more than 50,000.
More than 50,000?
Yeah, actually one time I got it as 59,000 something, and next time when I tried, it is showing 60,000.
Yeah, ideally for SQL Server range, the approved one is 1433 to 50,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I need to check on it. Why
Okay.
firewall has been assigned more than 50,000.
Okay. Yeah, okay, no problem.
Can you please mute people who are not talking? Yes. So and also we discussed about the features in the SQL Server. And SQL Server we do have database engine and service broker, replication, full text, and notification services. And along with that, we do have management studio, business intelligence, and shared components. So whenever we do the SQL Server installation, we see each service for each component we select. Coming to the browser service is the server level, and it will listen on the server wise, and it will read all the connections that are coming to the server, and it will distribute to the corresponding SQL Server instance based on the port number.
Okay.
So this ends to the first module. So before I jump onto the second module, I would like to show a few more other things. This is totally maybe if you want, you can make a note of the script of TSQLs or syntax. So let me start my SQL Server. The shortcut for the Management Studio is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. If you go to run and hit SSMS, it will launch Management Studio. So whenever we are handling SQL Server, as soon as we connect, we will see the SQL Server server name and the user which you have connected. Along with that, we can see the version of the SQL Server. If you see 10.0.1600, so what this number indicates? So in your machines yesterday, Sirisha, did you observe in your SQL Server we are having 10.50.4000. So this number is unique for each versions. So that is called SQL Server version number. So if you want to check what is the version of my SQL Server, there are multiple ways. One is by hitting a simple select query. Select latest version. So by using this, you can find out what kind of version currently my box is having. The base one is called RTM. The product is called RTM. You see here. Microsoft SQL Server 2008 RTM. After this is the base SQL Server. After that, I haven't applied any service packs or hotfix. Service packs or hotfix will be provided by Microsoft to fix the bugs that I have resolved after the releasing the version of the main SQL Server. It's kind of our updates in our WhatsApp, mobile. It's similarly similar to that. These are the updates in the SQL Server, but these might not be a new features that are adding to the SQL Server. Those are it's mainly for the fixes of to the bugs which are available after the SQL Server versions. So if you see here, mine is Microsoft SQL Server 2008 RTM. RTM stands for base version, and the product level is 10.0.1600.22. So 10 stands for SQL Server 2008. 1600 stands for it's a base version RTM. If I upgrade to any service pack SP1 or service pack 2, it's SP3, SP4. Current latest service pack is service pack 4 for SQL Server 2008 and 2008 R2. And whereas for SQL Server 2012, it is service pack 2 is available in the market. So when you apply the service pack 2, automatically the product version will change. Okay, we can check that. Select. All these are built-in system commands. The physical DBA will make use of all system objects to read the data from SQL Server or to manage the SQL Server. There are multiple options in the SQL Server property, so we can document them in help or in my material. So we can find out SQL server name, edition, version, clustered, multiple options we can check. So I run a command to select it, F5 or execute. Here I have highlighted, if you can follow my mouse pointer, so execute. In a query analyzer, if you have multiple lines of syntax, So if you want to select run particular line of syntax, you just select it and execute it. So by using select a server property of server name, it has displayed the SQL server name. All this syntax I will be providing in my material for your reference. Just if you want, you can make a running notes now for your reference practice purpose. So select server property of edition. It will use developer edition. So what kind of version we have? The keyword is product level. TM, the complete what is the current version by using. So this is one way we can find out, or else by seeing here find out what kind of SQL server is currently. So we have seen few of the built-in things, right? Here we have seen databases, security, server objects, replication, management, and SQL. In the SQL Server logs, here we are seeing logs. These are the SQL Server error logs. It will keeps on writing the entries related to SQL Server data. For Windows Event Viewer log, in Windows Event Viewer, we are having system security kind of audit log. Similarly, SQL Server also have. This is only related to the SQL Server. If you see current log, let me come to bottom of this. As soon as I see here, let me make it nice. Yes. So here the first statement, what it says, Microsoft SQL Server 2008 RTM 10.0.1664. That was the product released, copyright. Okay, and what kind of edition it is and what kind of machine it was installed. Okay, and what is the current process, what kind of authentication mode SQL Server is having, and where it is currently looking at. So all this information you can find from SQL Server logs as well. So see, here I am showing all the multiple option to find the version and edition. Okay, so you can choose which one you feel comfort. Okay, got it? And so as part of configuration, we will see few more things related to SQL Server instance. So SQL Server, what is my SQL Server name? My SQL Server name, since this is a named instance, box name plus SQL Server instance name. Let me click on connect, database engine. has provided box name slash SQL Server instance name with Windows authentication and connect. Okay. If you right click on SQL Server instance, here you are having multiple options. So here few things you can manage from your configuration manager. Start, stop, pause, resume, restart. These things you can perform from your SQL Server configuration manager. So just go to properties, select the properties. So if you select, there are multiple tabs here: general, memory, processors, security, connections, database settings, advanced, and permissions. If you go to general, so here you can able to see currently the server is having. Okay, next, memory. By using memory tab, we can minimum and maximum memory to the SQL Server. So what is minimum and maximum memory? Any guess, Ashwita? Ashwita, you there? Okay, Sai Pooja, are you able to hear me?
It's cutting in between.
Okay,
And
are you
video is
able to?
also,
Yeah, so video also there is a delay, so you are
yeah,
facing challenge.
yeah, because the voice and the video is not matching for me, as I'm unable to follow properly. Actually, me and Ashwita both are in school. There is a problem with connection in school today. That's the reason we are unable to follow properly.
Okay. Okay, you try to, I'll try to tell slowly. I'll take your passes. Looks like there is a little latency in voice in the
Yeah.
screen.
Yes.
Yes, I'll take a little passes. However, in memory, we see memory and maximum memory. Sirisha, any wide guess what is minimum memory and maximum memory? Why we need
No.
that?
How much?
No idea actually.
Yes. So the reason behind min and maximum here is it is required to specify when we have more than an instance and when we want to customize our memory. Let us say in the current system, my box is having 8 GB of RAM. So my kernel mode, that is operating system, will take minimum of 1 GB. And I will reserve 1 more GB for my operating system. Okay. So if I don't reserve any memory to operating system, what my SQL Server will do, SQL Server will try to use the available memory. It will try to grab whatever the memory is available, it will try to use for the applications, for the queries, okay, for the databases. So if I want to reserve some memory to the SQL Server, I can set the minimum, I will customize my memory settings to the SQL Server. So if I can say max to 6 GB. That means my SQL Server cannot use more than 6 GB. Okay. Similarly, if I specify a minimum value, whenever the SQL Server start up, it will try to use from minimum of value. It's always, we can keep it as 0. So whenever the SQL Server restart, the memory utilization will go from 0. Even though if we assign 6 GB as a min and maximum value, whenever it requires 6 GB, initially it will not assign to the SQL Server. From 0 it will gradually increase. Once it reaches to the minimum value, it will not give back to the operating system, and also it will not cross beyond the maximum value, which is, let us say, if I assign 1 GB as a minimum value and 1 GB as a maximum value, that means my SQL Server, when I restart the SQL Server, it will gradually start increasing from 0. So once it reaches the minimum value, it will not come back, it will not give to operating system, and it will keep on increasing based on the request to the SQL Server, and it can grow, it can utilize till maximum of 6 GB. In this case, we are reserving our 2 GB to the operating system. Let us say I have 2 instances. So I have in my machine, I have 2 instances. One is default instance, other one is named instance. So out of this, default instance is running for OLTP applications, that is a data warehousing related applications, and whereas the named instance is running from online banking related applications. So in this case, my priority would be online banking. So here, I thought of give more preference to operating, highly critical applications, and less preference to the reporting related databases. So for this, what I thought is, out of my 8 GB, I wanted to customize 2 GB for my operating system, and 2 GB for OLTP, and 4 GB for my OLB online banking related database instance. So in that case, what I can do is, min I can mention as 0 or else 512 MB. Okay, even though whatever you mention the minimum value, at the time of startup, it will grow from 0. Four GB or yes. Whereas coming to OLTP instance, min I will mention as 0, max I am mentioning as 2 GB. If you see here in this scenario, I have customized my memory to among multiple instances. Depending upon my requirement and priority, I have customized the memory between 2 instances. So still, it's recommended to reserve some memory to the operating system to avoid memory pressure. So this is how the memory value setting is: minimum value and maximum value. By default, the default value is 2 terabyte. So if I want to customize my memory, I have to give in MB 1G2048. What it means? My minimum memory is 0, maximum memory is 2 GB. 2048 MB I have given to my SQL Server. Clear on minimum memory and maximum memory? Any questions here?
Yeah, clear.
Yes. And here one more thing is AWE. Address window extension. So this is required for a Windows 32 machine to make use of more than 2 GB of RAM. So in 32-bit or earlier operating systems, the operating system Windows itself cannot recognize more than 4 GB. In that 4 GB, 2 GB will be given to kernel mode and 2 GB will be given to application mode. So if your SQL server is make use of more than 2 GB, so that means I have 4 GB of RAM. Out of this, 2 will go to kernel mode and 2 is going to kernel mode is nothing but a operating system internal. It's a kernel mode is the media between software and hardware. It's a OS level layer. So 2 GB for application. Let us say if I want to use make memory more memory for my application, then what I need to do? Out of 4 GB, I can decrease 1 GB to my kernel mode and 3 GB to my application mode. Or else, if I add more memory to OS operating system or box, so then I can increase my memory. If I increase more memory, my operating system should detect. For that, in OS level, we have PAE and 3G switch. So don't need not to confuse. These are the OS related concepts. Windows administrator will take care of these things. So from as a SQL DBA, we need to be aware of AWE, that is address window extension. Why address window extension is required? If the SQL server is running on a 32-bit machine, and if you want to make use of more than 2 GB of RAM, we need to enable AWE. So before you enable AWE, my Windows operating system, where it is having 32-bit operating system, you should have PAE and 3G switch enabled in boot.ini file. This one we are not going to take. This will be taken care by Windows administrator. The boot.ini file is a hidden file that will be available in C Windows directory. So whenever the SQL server is, whenever the box is restarting, it will read from boot.ini and the memory allocation will takes place. If something goes wrong, some parameter or some mistakes in the boot.ini file, the box will itself will not come up. Now we ignore all this PAE and 3G switch just for the understanding of AWE. I just explained what is 32-bit and what is the parameter that we need to enable in boot.ini file to make use of more than 2 GB on a 32-bit machine. Let us say if your box is having more memory on your 32-bit machine, by enabling PAE and 3G switch, if your SQL server want to use more than 2 GB of RAM, then you must enable AWE, address window extension. Then only your SQL server will use more than 2 GB. It is required for only 32-bit. It's not at all required for 64-bit. This AWE is introduced in SQL Server 2008. In earlier versions, like from 2012, the option is removed and removed from GUI, whereas from 2016, this option is going to permanently removed from SQL Server instance properties. The other one is VIA, that is protocol. VIA protocol also going to be removed from future versions. So that is memory related options available in SQL Server. You can customize your memory. If it is a 32-bit, if you want to make use of more memory, that is min and max, you must enable AWE. Okay, next. After customizing our memory, the next one is processor. So this processor is similar. How we are managing the memory between multiple instances, similar way you can customize your processors between multiple instances. So let's say if you have 4 processors here, if you see in my screen, you have a CPU 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can assign 2 processors to instance 1, 2 processors to instance 2. Uncheck it. So if you want to allocate, you remove here currently automatically set a processor affinity mask to all processor. That means whenever the request comes, automatically the request will be shared by multiple processors. How? Okay. I am doing a copy, simple copy. I'll show you a small demo. So I'm trying to copy a file with 17.9 GB to other drive. Okay. I will go to task manager, performance. Here if you see CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3 and CPU 4. The operation which is currently going on in my operating system, that is being shared with all 4 processors. Here I haven't customized. Okay, this task is being taken care by all the process. Similarly, let us say if in your SQL Server, if you have 2 instances, by default it will try to share between among all the CPUs. If you want to customize it, let's say my SQL Server 1 use more processors, SQL Server 2 use less processors, then you can customize the available processes between the SQL Server instances. Let me cancel it. I have cancelled it. If you see the graph, it is gradually coming down. Here. So remove the automatically set processors, and if you want here, this means for this instance only CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3 are allocated. So all these request will be carried out by those 3 CPUs only. So by default, let it keep it as a automatically set a processor affinity mask by all processors, as long as you don't have any specific requirements, like few of the applications, SharePoint application and other few of the applications, it's for the to get better performance, it's recommended to customize the CPUs in the SQL Server. So as long as we don't have any specifications, it's a better and it's a best practice to keep automatically set processor affinity mask, so that the threads, the request will be automatically shared between all the available processors. Next, coming to the security. If you see here security, we are having again, we have here Windows SQL Server authentication. So this authentication we have specified at the time of SQL Server installation. So if you want to change the authentication type, you can change here. The same concept, Windows authentication will allow only Windows users, whereas mixed authentication, that is SQL Server and Windows authentication, will allow both kind of Microsoft SQL Server, the instance name and MS. You are seeing multiple also the root directory we have selected at the time of installation. The directory for this installation we have given as go to log log folder, a warning, continue, and then SQL. So here this time I went location and I am trying to open from the vision. I'm selecting this after some time we'll be discussing about minus D minus C L minus L. What are these minus D minus C minus L, and then few of the information related to SQL Server. In what port it is currently listening? It is listening on 1435. What is the instance name? SQL Server instance name. Here you can able to see what is the current speed, and few of the other related information is logging here. Let us go back to here. Logging audit. Here none, failure logins, successful logins, both failed and successful logins. Here currently the logging is set to failed logins only. That means whenever a user fails to connect to SQL Server, that entry, that failure will be logged into that will be audited in your SQL Server. Let us demonstrate. Okay, I am trying to connect my SQL Server instance, selecting database engine. I provided computer name plus SQL Server instance name and selecting SQL Server authentication. Built-in SQL Server administrator is SA. For that, I have specified my password. I am giving a random wrong password. Okay. So the error message says cannot connect to SQL Server instance. The reason is login failed for user SA, system administrator. It failed. Okay, fine. I'm clicking OK. I'm giving some other account. ASDF. Again, I tried. Login failed for other user. So I have given. There are multiple reasons here. Two things. In first scenario, I entered wrong password. In the second scenario, I entered the login ID which doesn't have in my SQL Server. I used ASDF. That login is. See if you go to SQL Server security logins. Here, no login name called ASDF. For SA, I entered wrong password. So here we are having two failure entries. Now we will check whether these failures are logged in SQL Server logs or not. Able to see? Reason password did not match. Login failed for the user SA. The reason is password did not provided. For the second user, login failed for the user ASDF. The reason is login not found in a login matching provided name. Shirish, are you able to follow it?
Yes.
Yes. So why it is logged here? Based on my instance level auditing parameter, it logged. Currently it is set to failed logins only. That's the reason my failed logins are logged in SQL Server error log. None means it will not log. Successful logins only. It will log only successful logins. If you keep both successful and failure logins, it will log both successful and failure logins. Let me keep it in both failed and successful logins. I change it to both the failed and successful login. So here most of the SQL Server instance properties currently in the screen we are having multiple properties. Those are all instance level properties. General, memory, processor, security, connections, database settings, advanced permissions. So how we open this window? We went to right click on a SQL Server instance and then selected the properties. So that's why what are the changes we made here. So these will be applicable to SQL Server entire instance. All these SQL Server instance level properties, most of the properties require restart of SQL services to get those changes reflect. Okay, now currently we are in security. In security, audit logging. Audit logging, I change it to both fail and successful logging. Clicking on OK. Now I will try to make a connection. Database engine. I connected, and then I am trying one more time. With this time I am trying to give wrong password. Failed. Now what is expected? Since my audit trial policy is set to both success and failure. So now we see a successful connection and one failure connection. So we will see whether these both two entries are logged in SQL Server error logs or not. Here if you see the failure entry is still available. The successful attempt is not yet logged. So what I will do, I will close the existing connection. I will connect now. Okay, I will use SQL authentication. This time I'm providing correct password, that is PASSWORD 123. What is my SQL Server password? PASSWORD 123. Yes, connected. Again, going back to my SQL Server logs. Let me close previous notepads. I am opening log file in
ఒకటి
notepad.
చేసేస్తున్నాయి ఇంకా నా వల్ల కాదు ఇంక వల్ల అయితే
If you see here, still my successful entries are not logging. Login failed, login failed, login failed. Right? Even though it didn't prompt like a restart is mandatory. Yesterday when we changed the port number or port type dynamic to static, and when we enable the port TCP/IP enable, it prompted like a restart is required. See here, the changes what we performed on instance level, it is not getting reflected. What I will do, I will validate one more time and I will restart the SQL services. So it's currently set to both failed and successful logins. To restart it, I can do the same from configuration manager, or from here I can, so here stop and start and restart. I click on restart. Are you sure you want to restart SQL Server instance? Yes. Yes, my SQL Server restarted. I have refreshed. Now I'm going back. Yes, the connection is established. I can able to connect it. Try to generate failure and successful logins. Given I used local dot comma 1435 to connect it. Connected, and then again I am trying to connect it, database engine. This time I am using SQL authentication. Let's say password, wrong password. It is failed. Fine. Right. So here now I am going back to physical location. It is in my case this directory is available in the program files MS SQL log. Let me refresh it. So if you observe here, always we are seeing 6 logs. Whenever a SQL server restart, a new error log will be created. If I restart one more time, the old one will get removed and it will get a new one created. Old one will go off. Currently, the reason is my SQL server currently can hold only 6 error logs. Okay, I will show that. If you see the last log, error log, what is the timestamp currently we are seeing? 6/23/2015 8:17 a.m. Okay, first let us conclude whether my SQL server is logging both successful and failure entries. This is a failure login. This is login succeed. Right? Earlier, the audit trail was set to only failed. That's the reason we can able to see only failure failure entries. Now I change it to both successful and failure. Now you can able to see successful connections as well. Okay, and coming to how many error logs it can save. So as said, as soon whenever the SQL server restart, a new error log will be generated or recycled. Okay, now you can able to see 6 logs are available. The first one is with the timestamp of 6/25/759. The last one is 8/17 of 2306. So can someone please remember the timestamp of last one? And before that, it was 9:30 the timestamp, 9:30 a.m. What I will do now, I will try to restart the SQL services one more time, and I will show you the changes that are reflecting SQL Server configuration. I am restarting one more time. Would not look at the service. Restart it. Are you sure? Yes. So please let me know if you get any confusion or if you are not able to follow the demo, so that I will repeat one more time. All these are real-time scenarios. This is, I mean, all these things will perform in a real-time production environment. So now I have restarted my machine. When we go back to log directory, okay, I'm refreshing one time. Says if you see, the latest log is generated at 8:02 and the last one is 9:30.
Yeah.
So last time the last log was
8:15.
8:52. So
Yeah.
yes, 8:15. So whenever the SQL Server restart, a new SQL Server error log is getting generated. So currently it is configured to have only 6 logs. That is the reason it can hold 6 logs. And as soon as whenever the server is restarting, the older one is getting replaced with the new one, removing. Okay. Right? That means the retention of the SQL Server error logs is set to 6. That means my SQL Server currently can hold 6. If I want to change it to more, let us say if I want to keep 30 days of logs. So now my SQL
Even
Server restart.
Here, the log 8, 9, those are going to be changing the numbers?
No, these are, if you see the type, if you see the type, okay, the type is, name is something else. Do you observe? 1 file, 2 file, that is, you can see for SQL Server error log. For here 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that is SQL Server profiler log. Those are not SQL Server error log files.
Okay. Hello? Hello?
So that one we will. Yeah, able to hear me?
Yeah, now it is okay. Yeah.
Okay. So here, if you can see, we can hold 6 SQL Server error logs. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. If I want to change it to more, so that means I want to hold 1 month older logs. In that case, the value should be more than 30. Let us say whenever my SQL Server restart, a new error log will be generated. So if I want to keep minimum of 30 days error log, that means my SQL Server should not reboot more than 6 times in a month. Correct. Then only my SQL Server can hold more than 1 month data in the logs. So if it is restart frequently, whenever it restart, a new file will be generated. So if you want to change the retention of the error log, how many logs it can say, that can be changed. Go to where we have seen here in the management, expand the management. SQL Server SQL Server logs. Right click on it. Go to configure. So if you see here, limit the number of error log files before they are recycled. So the current value set is 6. Right? Because of this setting, your error logs recycle is limited. After every 6 error logs, the older one is getting recycled. If you change this value, if you increase this value, so that your SQL Server error log can save more number of logs. So let us say if I give here a value of 10, right? I am clicking. Okay. So that means here I can see 10 logs.
10.
So previously when I restart, my old error log got recycled. Now the value I change it to 6. That means my SQL Server can hold 10 SQL Server error logs. Now let me restart again.
So we can see the earlier ones.
Yes, 921 log should be there. So 930 log should be there. And now 6 logs are there. Whenever the SQL Server restart, it should generate a new one. So after restart, we should see SQL Server log 7 as 931.
Okay.
I don't know. SQL service has stopped. Now it is starting. Hello.
Yes, yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, yeah, my connection disconnected, so I had to reconnect. So after changing the reconfiguration value to 10 in the SQL Server error logs, so now after the restart, we could able to see the new one. So the older one is not recycled. Actually, still we
Yeah,
can able to the 930 log.
yeah.
So now the current settings are set to 10. That means my SQL Server can hold 10 SQL Server error logs before it's a recycle.
Okay.
To configure it, you need to go to Management, SQL Server logs, right click, Configure. So we can limit the number of error logs up to till 99. The value must between 6 to 99. You cannot keep more less than 6 or more than 99. The range can be only 6 to 99. So by default,
So
whenever the SQL, please.
we can see 99 at a time error logs.
If you keep 99 means maximum 99 error logs it can keep. Before it recycle, the count that means your SQL Server can restart 99 times. So
Oh, okay.
99 days logs it can keep.
Oh, okay.
The same thing you can, what are the tasks which we are performing in GUI? The same thing you can do via query, that is sp underscore reconfigure error log. By using that you can reconfigure. Recycle also you can do it. We are in SQL Server instance lab properties. We'll go back. We discussed about general. In general, you can see all the SQL Server instance level information and edition version and what kind of collation related information. By using memory, you can customize the memory available memory between one or more SQL Server instances. By using this, we can restrict the SQL Server to use the particular memory by setting min and maximum value, and AW setting address window extension. It is useful for a 32-bit machine. So if the operating system is having a 32-bit machine, and if the OS is having, if the box is having more than 2 GB of RAM, and to make use of more memory, you need to enable AW feature. In a 64-bit version, it's not required to enable AW to use more memory. Whereas processors, by using processor, you can customize your process, make use between multiple SQL Server instances. Whereas coming to the security, so here you can change your SQL Server authentication type, Windows authentication or mixed authentication, and audit login you can change. We will discuss this proxy account later. This proxy account is nothing but giving a admin accounts to SQL Server as a proxy user. Next, coming to the connections. So here the connections, maximum number of concurrent connections. At a time, how many users can connect to the SQL Server? So by default, the value is 0. That means based on the available resources, my SQL Server can accept multiple connections. So if I want to restrict my connections, then that means only 10 users can able to connect to my SQL Server. If 11th person try to connect, what it will says? Any idea? Maximum allowed connection exceed. It will wait for some time, and then it will wait within the timeout settings value. It will wait till the time if any existing user gets disconnected. If no user disconnected or no session is free, then it will give a error message. So if you by using this, you can restrict your connection to the SQL server. And if you see here, remote server connections, yellow remote connection to the server. That means if you want to make use of TCP/IP protocol, so whenever we are making a connection from client to server remotely, so it uses TCP/IP protocol. If this option is not selected, you cannot able to, your SQL server will not allow connections remotely. It will use only local connections by using
Shared memory.
shared memory protocol. Okay, so if you want to make use of your TCP/IP protocol in the network via by using IP and port number, yellow remote connection should be enabled. And the timeout query settings is set to 600 seconds. So here I set as a maximum connections are 10. If 11th connection is try to connect the SQL server, it will see how many connections are there. It will wait 600 seconds and then it will throw a timeout error. As soon as it connects, it will not time out. It will wait for some time and it will time out. Generally, we will go to ATM center or in net, we will see a timeout errors. So as soon as we enter, we are not getting timeout error. It will wait for particular time, and then the request is not exceeding the wait time. Then you will get we are receiving a timeout error. In SQL Server, the default timeout value is 100 seconds. If you can increase or you can decrease, these are the default values. By default, 0 will be the maximum number of connections. That means unlimited. Based on your available hardware and resources, the connections will be established with the SQL Server. The remote timeout query will be 600 seconds. Clear?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Coming to database settings. So here database settings, you are seeing a data and log directory. So this is nothing but at the time of installation, you will be providing a location for your new databases. How you have seen your folder structure here. So this is the MSSQL here, backup bin data log directory. So this is the directory that has been loaded at the time of installation. So here database default location. By default, your database will be residing on this location. Let me expand it. Where it is? Currently it is in D program files, Microsoft SQL Server. I'm copying. D program files, MS SQL Server, instance name, MS SQL data. So your database files are by default, it will look for this location.
Okay.
Installation, I can customize the location, or else while creating, I can provide. If I don't provide the location for my database, by default, it will come to this location. So in tomorrow's session, we will discuss what are these files. So now I just installed the SQL Server. So when I install SQL Server, I see a few of the database files here in this location. What are these files? What the use of these files? In tomorrow's session, we will discuss. Okay. Here, compressed backup. This is the option that is available from SQL Server 2008. So in SQL Server backup topic, we will discuss more about backup compression. If you want to select that option, you select here, else it's not required. So in each screen, that is memory and processor, security, if you observe here in the bottom, configured value, running value. So here you can see here running value, configured value. So running value, it shows what are the configuration currently set to. So that is running values. Configured values, if you want to change, when you set the SQL Server properties in the configured value, all these are editable. Okay. So if you set to running value, all these went to read only. It just gives the current running values. Okay. The same value, the same details you can get from query as well. SP underscore configure SQL F5GURE F5 execute. See, remote connections. How many timeout? Remote timeout is set to run value 20. So the same values what we have seen in each GUI, we are seeing in sp_configure. But if you see here, now I could see only 16 values. The records are 16. Few of the features are not available. To make use of those options, you just enable show advanced options.
Okay.
So just how to enable advanced options, copy sp_configure, copy sp_configure, comma 1. A configuration option, show advanced option, change it from 0 to 1. Run reconfigure statement to install. After that, earlier it has shown only 16 parameters. Now I have reconfigured it. Now again I am checking what are the configuration settings. sp_configure. If you see here, now the value, now it is showing almost 70 configuration values displayed. Earlier only 16 we see,
Yeah.
now 70 in the minimum memory, maximum memory, remote query timeout value is set to 600. Similarly, min max memory, maximum server memory by default value 2 TB. Min server memory, it's set to 0. So as I said, all these configurations you can change from GUI navigation or else sp_configure using TSQL statement. If you want to change it, take the property of the particular parameter and use sp_configure, change it and give the desired value, or else just go to right click on your property, SQL Server Instance properties, go to SQL Server Instance, so select the appropriate connections. You can change whatever the property you want, you just change it. If you want to change the authentication, just change the authentication and click on OK, it will change. See here you can able to see script. If you click on script, what it will do, it will generate the script for this up task. Okay, so
We can record.
Okay, what I did, I just generated the script.
We can record this.
Yes, we can record the script and then yes.
Okay.
So if I do the same operation using GUI internally, my SQL server will pass the same command. This command will be passed by SQL server internally. Okay, so you can perform all, I can say most of the operations. Very few limited options you cannot perform using GUI. Apart from those exception things, all 99% of tasks you can perform using GUI and command prompt. Both you can perform. That is up to you. Which one you feel comfort and which one you prefer, that is up to you.
Okay.
Okay, so for today's session we discussed SQL Server properties and its configuration. And memory set.
Srinivas, in connections, I do see another option, use query governor to prevent long running queries.
In connections? Yes.
Yeah. What
Yes.
is that?
Yeah, it's a one of the feature in SQL Server 2008, starting from SQL Server 2008. Use query governor to prevent long running queries. So that means you can customize by using resource governor. So how we are customizing your memory and CPU, similarly you can prioritize your queries or users, so that whenever that user is trying to hit the query or when that application try to connect the SQL server, more resources or more connections will be allocated to that connection or user by using resource governor. So that feature is available in, we will cover those concept in advantages and new features of SQL Server.
Okay.
So if you have the database advanced features, these we will not change anymore. These will be default. Remote connection, timeout, and a network packet size by default. How much KBs of data will be transferred in network. So all these are the default values. And coming to the parameter permissions, so who all are having permission in the SQL Server, so we can customize it here. These are the instance level permissions. Shutdown, who can do it, grant, with the grant, deny. So these permissions we will discuss more in security concept. Okay, any questions in today's class? So today we discussed about configuration, recapped about a configuration manager, and how can we validate the existing version and edition, and what are the ways we can find that details. Okay, and then we have, yes, we have seen the SQL Server properties, memory settings, and processor configuration, and security, audit trials, and changing the authentication modes and connection properties. Okay. So any questions? So if no questions, we can end up the today's session. I'll meet you tomorrow. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Hi, Srinivas.
Yes?
Yeah, this is Pooja.
Pooja.
If you have time, can you please look on the software which I was unable to install?
Yes. Let me make you as a presenter. Pooja, I think you are having challenges in today's session, right? The voice and the screen share are not syncing.
Yes.
So maybe, I mean, I will do a recap in tomorrow's starting of session. So if any questions, if you get doubts, you can ask tomorrow.
Yeah, meanwhile, if you send us a video clip for today's class, tomorrow we can give a look before class starts.
Yeah, sure. Dharma will take care of that.
Yeah.
I think now you are the presenter.
Yeah.
Yes, Srinivas, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Naga. Sirisha, maybe if you want, you can shadow, or else you people can drop off.
Yeah, I just want to shadow it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share the entire screen or go to meeting?
Better entire screen, so that I can see, I can navigate a few of the things in your computer, like components and configuration settings.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Yes, I could able to see your screen.
Okay.
Okay. Now can you show your my computer properties?
Yeah. Did you see?
No.
Did you get it?
No, not it. I'm not able to see. Maybe
I
you have to
opened.
do screen share one more time. I mean, entire screen.
Okay.
Maybe you can start sharing the desktop.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Now I see go to meeting. Yes. Yeah. 8 GB of RAM, 64-bit. Okay. Okay. Please cancel it. And what kind of media you are using, installation media? So did you download from internet? Download
No,
that
actually,
Microsoft?
which you showed us on that day on day before yesterday's class, we were unable to download. So we in our university we have permission to download free softwares.
Mhm.
So I downloaded from our college website like free software with SQL Server 2008 Service Pack 2 Express Edition.
Okay, can you show it? So
Yeah, I
yesterday when we are doing a screen share with Srisha and Naga, they have downloaded SQL Server 2008 R2 Enterprise Edition Service Pack with the Service Pack 2. They could able to do it. Okay,
yeah.
can you check the size of the
What, are you unable to
service?
see?
Yeah, I'm able to see. Can you open R2 Express Edition?
Yeah, this is the Express Edition which I opened.
Uh,
Do you want me to run it?
no, just expand it and see the what's the size of that file.
The size is, see, can you see this much KB?
Okay, just go back and just we have other folder, right? Service Pack 2.
Yeah.
That is Management Studio. I see SQL Server 2008 R2 Express Management Studio Service Pack 2
This
and
is this is the one.
that is yeah. I think that is only Service Pack.
Yeah, this is only service pack, maybe.
Okay. And what about the next one? I mean, the one next to songs.
Okay, this one.
SQL Server. No,
The same
the
file. This is the same one.
VM file. Okay. Okay. So try to run as administrator, right click and run as administrator.
This one? Wait, this one or
The one 1.3 GB.
this one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Right click and run as administrator. What happened? Did you move to other location?
oh no. Which one?
Yeah, same one. Please go ahead. So you downloaded 2 times, right? Service Pack 2. The other one
Yeah.
is 1.6. This is 1.3. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will see what kind of features it is listing. So it is not listing the Management Studio. We will cancel it and we'll come back to 1.6 MB installation media.
Okay.
Yeah, new installation and add features.
Should I accept the license terms?
Mhm.
Next.
Yeah, accept the license and next.
Yeah, I got the instance features, shared features.
Okay. Yeah, this should be fine now.
Okay. Shall I go ahead?
Yes. So you have given a shared directory as C drive. Okay,
Yeah.
just go to next.
Name instance.
Yes. Given name to instance.
Any name.
Yes, any name. Okay. The installation root directory you can change from C to any other location. So in this in this place where you will see your default directories. Today we have seen error logs and database files. So this will go to this
Okay.
location. If we have
Okay.
apart from
So
C,
will
if we have
desktop accept it?
yes, desktop is accepted. How many drives do you have?
Okay. I have only C and DE. This is a recovery drive and E.
Okay. Keep D drive for instance to directory.
Okay.
Sorry, D drive.
D, okay?
D. Okay, E is fine. D is recovery. Then you can select E.
E. Yeah.
E.
Yeah, I pressed E.
Okay.
Shall I click on and click on next?
Can you cancel it?
Do you want me to cancel it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can simply remove the C and yes. See, no. Okay, there is a delay in the screen share and voice. Okay. Don't wait, Pooja.
Oh,
So don't cancel the setup. What I told was
actually, the voice and video is not matching, I guess.
I was telling delete the D drive and keep entire folder structure. So maybe that sync with deleting the. Okay, no problem. Do it one more time.
Okay.
Last time when you select E drive, so you don't see program files and other things. Just it has taken only E drive. So next time what you do, remove C and just type E drive so that a folder structure automatically it will create on the E drive. That's E program files, Microsoft SQL Server, blah blah.
Yeah, sure. Srinivas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can able to. And also currently we are in license, right? Remove that send future usage of data. You selected
No, actually,
in license.
I am in named instance.
Okay. Now I could see the features screen.
Oh, I'm an actually right now I'm an instant configuration named instance. Okay. I'll just remove
Okay.
C and I'll put E.
So you selected named instance is Pooja. Just instance root directory, remove C and keep E, so that the program files
Yeah.
Microsoft SQL Server, it automatically it will the folders will be created. Okay.
Yeah.
You can proceed next.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in
Yes.
near like service accounts.
Yeah, service accounts, the database engine is automatic. If you want configure your service accounts now here, or else let it be in your local built-in network share. No problem, let it be.
Okay. Shall I click on next?
Yes. So after the installation, the SQL Server database will be set to automatic and it will be started.
Okay. It's in Windows authentication mode.
Okay. So it's prefer to keep mixed authentication mode.
Yeah. Enter password. It
Yes.
can be of any password, right?
Yeah,
Or
any password.
okay.
Any password. See, if you see here, the administrator account is SA.
SA. Yeah.
Yeah, the login name is SA. You are specifying the password, and current user is already added. Before
So I gave.
clicking next, you just go to Data Directories tab.
Okay. Okay.
On the top, account provisioning data directories. Yes. So all your temp DB directories and backup and user database directory is going to E drive.
E-drive.
Okay, if you want to change, you can change it, or else while creating a database you can change it. In today's session, in instance level properties, database directory is there. So
Okay.
that is the same one it is referring here. If you whatever the database directory will give, it will reflect there. If you want, you can customize it here, or else the instance level properties. After the installation, you can change it. Whenever you create a database, those files will be routed to map put to the same location. You can switch to next.
Yeah. In the native mode default configuration, or should I find?
Which one?
Yeah.
Can you
The
come again?
next, install the native
Yes,
mode default.
yeah, native mode.
Okay.
We don't need the SharePoint or. In error
And
reporting, not required. Just click next.
okay, it's the process going on. So how can I rectify this problem, like the matching of audio and video thing? Because it's daily it's having a little problem with this, even though I'm at my home or even at my school.
Sirisha, sorry, Pooja, sorry, can you come again? Is the question
Yeah,
clear?
actually, how can I rectify this problem of unmatching my audio and video?
That is maybe
Because
latency problem with your broadband connection or my connection. So we are in two geographic locations, right?
yeah, actually, right now I'm in my school, but I face the same problem at my home also. That's why I switched to school. But even though I'm having the same problem, even
Mm-hmm.
when you share your screen, even if you're opening another window, it's taking a few minutes for me to open.
Oh,
Meanwhile, the voice is running away. I'm unable
okay.
to match it.
So actually, what I do is I'll keep a attendees screen. I mean,
Mhm.
in GoToMeeting, we can have a option to uh, select what attendees are seeing.
Okay.
Okay, so I keep that window. So based on that, I'll explain. So there
Okay.
is a few seconds delay. That's what I observed. So based on that, I'm giving pauses in my explanation. So
Okay.
I don't think how others Sirisha and Naga and other people how they are having challenges. I don't think they are having this much delay. Minute delay, I
Yeah,
don't think.
I think are they from India?
No,
Sirisha and
no,
oh,
they are
No,
from
no, we are
Vishwan.
from US.
yeah. Okay, maybe we are having something server this net problem.
You are from India, Pooja?
No, I'm from Illinois, USA.
Okay, okay.
Pooja, I will be back in a minute. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
keeping
sure.
on mute. Yeah, Pooja, I'm back.
The process is going on.
Yeah.
So, is there a class tomorrow? Because we have a course tomorrow evening.
Yeah, Dharma from like Tuesday and Thursday, there will not be any classes.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, our course will be ending next week, so that should be live after next week.
Okay.
Srinivas, I have a small doubt. Is
Yes,
Ashwita?
Risha.
Is Ashwita?
Ashwita. Okay, I need some time to recognize
Yeah,
your
that's
voices.
okay. Actually, I have a SQL server like in my system previously, so I'm not knowing whether
Okay.
that is the required software or I need to reinstall it again.
Okay. So in today's session, what we have shown is to find out what kind of version edition it currently is, right? So
Like
you
actually, it
check
is 2008 version only. Like when
okay,
I'm trying to open it, I just got the same window which you got it, but few of the options
okay.
were missing. So like if you're free, like when you're free, can you just check out that? Like is it the
Yeah, sure.
software?
So that is what if you are using enterprise evaluation edition, so most
Okay.
of the options are not available. That's the reason yesterday I was telling, if possible, if you have any friends, you try to get developer or standard edition so that you can
Okay.
make use of all the features. You see what edition that is. So by
Okay.
going instance level properties or else select the server property of edition.
Okay.
Pooja, you may want to go to services.msc and see whether SQL related services are installed or not.
Okay. Where did I see it?
Sorry?
Can you please tell it?
Yeah, just go to services.msc, run, go to start, run.
This is MySQL connector 1.1.0 software which I'm
MySQL,
yeah.
yeah, MySQL is other database engine that
Okay.
is not SQL, Microsoft SQL Server. That
Okay.
is other relational database.
Yeah, I have Microsoft SQL Server 2005 with me.
Mhm. Okay, that is also fine. So in backups, we'll have compression that is added in 2008.
Okay.
Maybe you can, if you have Express Edition, just download and install it.
Okay, so you want me to get the Express edition and download it?
Yes. So in 2005, other things you can able to do it. When we come to
Okay.
backup and recovery, the compression it will not work.
Okay.
Other things you can work and practice on 2005. You don't see much difference in our parameters.
Okay. Can you just send today's recorded class so that, like, because you shared your screen with Pooja, so I'll just take her software and run my laptop, like, seeing your process. So that way
Okay,
it will be
fine.
easy, I guess.
Yeah,
Because the
sure.
class is still recorded, right?
I think yes.
The session is being still recorded, so I think that way it would make it for me easier to get the software.
Sure, I'll inform to Dharma.
Okay.
Pooja, can you search for SQL in the services? Just type yes.
Here. The following error has occurred. It's saying that. Can you see it?
No, still I'm in your services screen. Pooja, okay, Express Edition running. Okay. Yeah, you have already installed one default instance in this.
Yeah, yesterday because
Uh,
I tried to do
yeah,
software.
just click and cancel. This is yesterday even Sirisha get the same error. This is related to SQL Server installation and of drive level permission. Just click on cancel. So previously we are having a SQL Server expression default instance. Now we installed a SQL Server named instance with the name Pooja.
Pooja.
If you see, there are two services, right?
Yes, yes, I can see.
So now we have two instances. You already did it.
Yeah, yesterday I tried it, but after some, like, I got the same error, so I did it. It went wrong.
Okay. No, before closing that installation window, you just see what it is referring. If you see database engine and three, four components, it is installing now. So the error message is referring to SSRS.
Yeah.
So what is the state of today's install? Means current Pooja install. The instance is started, or what is the status it is showing?
Today's okay. It's running.
Okay, started. Okay. If you see here, the error message is related to reporting services. That is BA related component that we haven't selected.
So, do you want me to click next?
Yes, next. The database engine is successful, and the shared component management studio is success. Close the program.
Yeah, I did it.
Yes. You can just your installation completed with errors. Your permission setting on the folder C Windows dump failed. Yeah, you can ignore it. Yeah, just go to start programs and try to connect the SQL Server instance, either default or name.
You want me to go and start?
Yes. Yeah, please launch Management Studio from Start All Programs and try to connect any one of these instances.
Okay. So should I again run this Management Studio again, or is it launched?
Yeah, run means what you mean by run again?
Like,
just launch it. Launch from all programs, or else go to run command, type SSMS. We are not installing. We are just trying to connect to the database server using Management Studio.
Yeah.
You need not to run any setting, any setup. Just go to start. We are checking, we are validating whether our installation is successful or not. We are trying to connect to the existing installed SQL Server. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Should I give the password?
Yeah, you are selecting SQL authentication.
Yeah.
Yeah, Windows authentication means it's not required. SQL authentication, you have to provide SA, user ID and password.
Which I gave it, right? Like Pooja and my password.
Sorry? Now I'm seeing your Management Studio. You selected SQL authentication. Okay?
Yeah.
Now what is the login? Okay. So after the installation, who all can able to connect? You selected the mode as mixed mode, that is Windows authentication and SQL authentication.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. And after the installation, who all can connect? So after who all can connect, current user, who you added current user, that is the user who ran the installation, and then SQL Server built-in administrator, that is SA. So if you want to connect the SQL Server with Windows authentication, you just select the Windows authentication, click on connect. You can able to connect it because you added current user while doing installation. And if you want to connect with the SQL authentication, you just give the login name as SA and give the password which we have provided while installation.
Yeah, I just did it.
Yes, also try to connect using Windows authentication.
I did it with the SQL authentication.
Yes, now can you try with Windows as well?
So should I go to connect and go to database engine again?
Yes.
Windows authentication directly connect. Yeah. I did it.
I have to see. Okay, so now did you understand why these two users only able to connect? Let us say in your box, if you have any other users, local users, so they cannot able to connect to the SQL Server. Only SA and current user are able to connect. The reason is at the time of installation itself, you have considered your security considerations. That's the reason you added current user and SQL Server built-in administrator.
Yeah.
Clear?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe if you want, you can go to SQL Server Configuration Manager and configure your SQL Server settings. I mean SQL Server services like client network protocols and other things. You can have a check.
Yeah, I'll do that later.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, yeah, no problem. So we'll catch you on Friday. Okay,
Yeah,
same time.
Friday.
I'll inform to the.
Yeah, please can you inform him about the recorded video so that we can listen to the class tomorrow?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night.